Train the muscles, not the joints.
You guys are crooked. I don't get it. You need to straighten up, man. Straighten up. Hey? Attention. Come on. You need to straighten up there. We're going to talk about some serious crap here. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about overreaching, which is just really like I said, people come up with a bunch of terms on the internet for everything. It's like, you know, I'm sure there's some fancy terms for wiping your ass, you know, there's all these stupid things. And then people ask me in the comments, they're like, oh, what's this, what's that? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Just explain what it is you're talking about. And then I could tell you whether it works or not in my own experience or my own opinion, right? But people are like, oh, well, you don't want to research this fancy term that I know. So anyway, you know, that rant aside, the bottom line is overreaching is just a fancy way of saying train really hard for a period of time, and then when you feel like you're burned out, then take some rest and make sure that you are fully recovered by the time you work out again. That's basically it. So somebody just asked me, really polite dude in the comments, he's a really nice guy. He just asked me about training a body part 6 days a week, and can you do this? And I've talked about this lots of times, so you know, the only thing I will give this guy shit about is that he obviously didn't see my video only about 3 weeks ago. I made a video on super high frequency, so you're a bad man. You're a nice guy, but you're a bad man. The bottom line is, can you train a body part 6 days a week and then do that for several weeks and then take some time off and then somehow get more results? You know, anytime you are intense, anytime you are pushing the body, it will adapt to a certain point, and then there will be a breaking point where it doesn't adapt, and that's what we know as overtraining. But the fact is that I do believe in working body parts really frequently. I do believe that there's a massive positive effect from this. The difference is with what I'm teaching though, is that there's a way of training a body part so that you can recover in time, or at least be almost recovered by the time you train it again. So whether that means you're lowering the volume, whether that means you're not doing super heavy weight that day, whether it means that you're changing the angle of attack up, whatever it might be, and that allows you to train that body part again and get the callous principle working for you. So the callous principle works like this. Whatever is your daily activity is what the body is going to be more tuned towards. It's going to become attuned into that daily sort of stimulus. And I just had a guy named Georgios, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I'll just call you George for now, but he sent me some pictures and he said he was doing 6 to 8 reps and doing his normal sort of split program before, and then he bought the 2-day split program and the whole body workout program from my website. And then he said he's got the best results he's ever gotten in his life from training because he started to listen to his own body and start to also incorporate some principles of higher frequency in his training, along with changing up the rep ranges and so forth. Thanks a lot for sending those pictures to me, George. And mountain. So yeah, your biceps are looking pretty mountainous there, guy. So good job. Basically, the callous principle is this, is whatever you can basically maintain on a daily basis or close to that. Maybe it's not daily, maybe it's every second day or whatever. That's going to have a profound callous principle effect rather than just overstimulating the crap out of your body once a week and then not touching it again for, you know, several days or 6 days or whatever. And that's really the basis of what I found works the best for natural bodybuilders. For most anyway. I mean, there are some exceptions, of course, and we've talked about that on this channel too. So don't worry, if this is not working for you, then there may be some other variables at work in your body that I'm not talking about in this video, but it does happen. So don't worry, you're still fine. You're not an alien or something, or a Bigfoot lost in the woods looking for people to eat. You're not, right? Good, we can be pals. So the overreaching principle would be a little bit different. The overreaching principle is basically overtraining on purpose. So you're not really looking to recover, you're looking to just to pound the crap out of the body over and over again for long periods of time until the body just is making it totally apparent to you that it is not recovering and that you're so sore or so beaten up you just can't train anymore, and then you're forced to take some time off. So that's a little bit different. Now, I don't really like this approach, although I think if you err on the side of caution and have moderation when it comes down to your volume and the intensity of weight, then maybe there can be many sort of results from it. Like say you mildly overtrain, not majorly overtrain, but you mildly overtrain, then I think it can work. So say you just feel like, hey, I'm a little bit tight and sore now all the time, maybe I just need some rest or whatever, or I feel kind of like some overall burnout going on, maybe I need some rest, but not total destruction of the body, right? You understand, like it's easier to recover from a cut or a small wound than it is to get your head chopped off and then try to recover from that. Well, it's the same thing with training, right? If there's too much stimulus, like way too much, that just devastates the body and it does really nothing positive for you from a bodybuilding point of view. If anything, it's going to devastate you. So I would never recommend training in that way. So as far as I know with overreaching, there are some people promoting like, hey, just train your ass off really hard, eat and whatever. And then once you start to reach overtraining, then you basically take a week or two off to make sure that you're fully recovered. I'd say you could try this if you want. You could try it. I'm not saying it's bad. It's always good to try different techniques and see which one really starts to produce results in you. And there is 1 ounce of truth to this as far as you do need to push the body to find out where that threshold is. And this is the hardest part about being a natural bodybuilder, is that if you try to be too conservative all the time, then you don't get results. But then if you push too hard, then you get injured or you don't get results, right? So most of the time though, I find people don't push themselves hard enough. That's one of the biggest things I find with people in the gym, along with they don't find the right ranges of motion. Like they push the wrong part of their body into failure. And what I mean by this is that they tweak the ligaments and tendons, but they don't actually push the muscle bellies to failure, which is what we're trying to grow in the first place. They basically devastate the ligaments and undertrain the muscles. So in this way, you have to become a strategic thinker when it comes down to range of motion, rep ranges, angles of attack. And at the same time, yeah, don't be afraid of overtraining. Don't be afraid of trying something and pushing it to the extreme. And I did make a playlist on this. It's called Pushing the Limits playlist, where I train the same body part every single day, all the body parts, and I did decently heavy weights, and I noticed some progress in that time. So it's always about listening to your body. Like, are you recovering or are you not? Are your joints really getting beat up? Are you so sore that you can barely walk? Like what's happening? Or are you feeling like, wow, my strength seems to be progressively going up. I feel like more pumped. I feel my muscles are actually growing. If that's happening, then maybe it's the right way for you to train right now. Now, I'm not saying there won't be a point of diminishing return. Maybe after doing that for a month or two, maybe you'll find that, hey, your body just hits a plateau and now it's time to change that type of training up. Maybe you need to go to a bro split for a bit. Maybe you need to take a week off. These are things that you will learn as you play the musical instrument known as your body, right? So there's not any sort of fine line in the sand where you're like, okay, I can't cross that line. It's like, it depends on your genetics and depends on what you're doing with your diet as well, which is what I'm going to talk about in another video when it comes down to diet, because people are saying, hey, what should I do for pre-workout eating? And as far as recovery, like sometimes when you eat certain ways, you might not recover as well as other ways. So this is also something that you have to take into account when it comes down to choosing what type of training you're doing. So anyway, I hope this helps you understand what overreaching is, and then, yeah, maybe it can be a positive sort of thing to do to your body for a period of time. But in the end, I like to steer a car the way it needs to be steered on the road that I'm on at the time, instead of steering for a future curve. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't turn the car to the right when the curve is 100 miles in front of you. You turn the car to the right when you're on a curve, right? When the road is turning to the right. And that's where the callous principle comes in. Like on a day-to-day basis, when you're paying attention to what your body's doing and how it's recovering from the day before, I find it's a lot easier to get in tune with what is going on with the laws of cause and effect in your body, instead of just beating a crap out of it, just blindly, just beating it to death and then saying, okay, now I need a week off to recover, right? I find that there's a little bit of a disconnect or ungroundedness when it comes down to training like that. But hey, you know, to each their own, whatever works, right? That, in the end, that's what I always go back to, is whatever works. So thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the Patreon supporters. And there I have exclusive content. I'm putting up some vlogs here and there, or some just stuff on behind the scenes, and just talking about random subjects and stuff like that. So if you guys want some exclusive content, just make sure you become a Patreon. Otherwise, well, you might go up in the woods and I might have to plant you somewhere up on the mountain. But that's another story. I mean, you become a Patreon, right? I mean, I don't have to do that. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay. Mountain.